presenting ACA 9, which is a very important measure that does two simple things. First, it creates an exception to the 1% property tax for bonded indebtedness for public improvements like public safety facilities, affordable housing, etc., where such measures are approved by 55% voter approval. And second, it lowers the vote threshold for special taxes to 55%. So think of it in terms of lowering the vote threshold for many local revenue measures from the current 2/3 to 55%. Nearly 2 decades ago, as this committee knows all too well, Prop 13 sharply constrained the ability of local governments to raise revenue by raising the voting threshold for most local revenue measures to 2/3. So in order to secure essential funding for local services, including critical services involving the health and safety of the public, local governments face the very daunting prospect of bringing a special tax measure to the voters and winning 2/3 approval. These measures often fail. The result for many communities is that a small minority of voters are empowered to thwart solutions to critical needs like emergency services, public safety and education, and transportation. Time and again, a minority of voters has been able to thwart the will of the majority to provide adequate levels of funding for education, public safety, and so on.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Christy Baumer representing the California Professional Firefighters. We've been before this committee several times on this very issue, and I would only like to highlight 2 things. Mr. Huffman mentioned that, we partner with our local elected officials repeatedly to help pass local public safety taxes, and when 65% of a local electorate is not enough to indicate a majority support for a tax, it seems illogical to me.
Members, David Wolf here with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and I just question, especially after the tax increases passed in February, how much more revenue does this body want or need? We passed $1,100 per a family of 4 of very regressive income, sales, and car taxes in February, totaling $12.6 billion. We want to extend those taxes to the tune of another $16 billion in an election held this month. And I just question, how much more with the state facing an 11.2% unemployment rate, the highest unemployment rate in the last 30 years, how much more exaction can we continue to place on the taxpayers of the state? And I would just close by saying, according to the Tax Foundation, we have the 22nd highest property tax rate per capita in the United States, even with Proposition 13. That figures, right about average in terms of other property tax rates. And considering when we already have the highest income, sales, and car tax in the U.S., do we really want to start lowering voter thresholds and adding bonded indebtedness to increase the property taxes that Californians face? And for all those reasons, we'd ask for a strong no vote.
Thank you very much. Questions? Comment? Mr. Arambula? Mr. Duval?
Mr. Huffman, you started out by speaking and saying that the threshold of 2/3 is almost impossible to get. Well, in 2008, there were 63 measures and 57 of them passed. So at almost a 60% of 2/3 majority supporting it, I really think that your comments by saying it's almost impossible are a little bit out there. So obviously, I'm not going to support this because I believe the citizens of California that are actually paying these bills should be heard on 2/3. And I also think, and you're all going to think I'm crazy, if you don't own property, I don't think you should be able to vote on a property tax you don't pay. So that's my comments. I won't be supporting the bill.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? We do have a motion and a second, so we will take the roll.
The motion is be adopted and re-refer to the Committee on Revenue and Taxation. Caballero.
Aye.
Caballero, aye. Knight.
No.
Knight, no. Arambula. Arambula, aye. Davis.
Aye.
Davis, aye. Duval. Duval, no. Krikorian. Krikorian, aye. Skinner. Skinner, aye.
Bill's out 5-2. Thank you very much.